When it comes to somebody being around for that long, for 100 years, it was never just about one person or one leader. It's about a continual investment in people and in culture.
Well, when a company reaches 100 years, obviously the generations that run the company are doing something right.
History in the family businesses, the odds are less than 1% that a family-owned company will survive to 100 years and still be owned by the same family.
By the time you're in business for 100 years, you know what your identity is. You know what kind of person will be successful in your business. That's the person you go after.
In today's world, it's almost unimaginable. If you think of companies of that stature and that timetable, I think you immediately just think of some of the big, large legacy names.
You don't get to that milestone without being a really well-managed company. And to survive that long, you have to have a vision that takes you out many years or many decades.
It was 1922 in Lebanon, Pennsylvania, when numerous steam engines rolled through town and right next to a new business called Lebanon Plumbing Supply. The Tice family in Lebanon Valley dates all the way back to 1756, and a few generations later in the 1940s, Mark Tice had a dream.
Mark Tice started working at Lebanon Plumbing Supply. After he completed business college, he worked as the general manager, and he decided that he would like to purchase the company, and he had been denied a loan at the bank. And when he told his friends at the Rotary Club that sadly, no, he had not been approved for the loan. And several of the men that he knew in Rotary vouched for him and were able to help him secure a loan.
You know, he had a refinement that you don't see today that I miss.
But you knew you were going to get sage advice when you sought him out.
I say it was like a father figure, to be honest with you. And he cared about customers.
He was a gentleman, and he always treated people as he would want to be treated.
A wonderful mentor to many people, especially Scott.
I think the best description is it wasn't at all about him. As long as he could take care of people, that was fulfilling his personal mission, and that started with the customer.
With the APR philosophy firmly embedded from Mark Tice, it was then time for the second generation to continue the tradition.
Randy is the heart and soul of APR Supply as well, and I think he carries on his father's legacy.
He just built on Mark's good business practices and was very forward-thinking and an early adopter of technology.
Walking by, he's checking in with everybody. He's checking on your kids. He remembers your kids. He remembers your kids' names. He remembers your wife. You know, all those things that just really stick with you.
What I would say, the systems and processes of what it takes to grow a company, I think that started with Randy.
Randy was someone who was always thinking about what we could do better. You know, how could our group add more value? What are the things we could do together, bring members or distributors together?
Always looking for more information, for best practices, how he could team up with people to just make the business better, and just hungry for the ability to do better on what they were trying to do and service our customers' needs, and help set the stage for another level of growth when Gen 3 took over.
For their entire lives, Debbie and John Tice were part of the APR culture.
In those times, a big stack of paper checks would be returned, and my job when I was 8, 9, 10 years old was to spread them out on the living room floor and put them in numerical order. So I guess I was always destined to be on the accounting side of things.
Destiny was also calling to Debbie in another way as she pursued her business degree at Bucknell University.
You go up to Bucknell to visit her, and we did that fairly frequently. And we'd always meet Scott. But there's a story there, too, in that I knew of Scott because his mother and I played tennis together. And so because we'd always see Scott, I'd say to Debbie, well, how about the Weaver boy? And his mother would say to Scott, how about that Tice girl? Her mother's really nice. I bet she's a nice girl.
And indeed, Debbie and Scott did surrender to the truth of their meddling mothers. Shortly after nuptial vows were taken, there was a consensus that Scott Weaver, with all his energy and ambition, possessed some key traits and skills to contribute to the APR mission.
Well, when Scott came to town, to be quite honest, I think quite a few people had their doubts. Here's this young whippersnapper coming out of college and thinks he knows how to run the show.
Business acumen that needed to be let loose.
The first meeting I went to, and he talked about making millions of dollars. And then there was 8 branches, and I thought, oh, he's young. He's naive. Turns out I was the one that was naive. He had a plan.
I know he bumped heads with a lot of people on the way.
And once it was let loose, it articulated a vision that he could build upon from Randy and Mark and really help to launch into the future what it is today.
By the 1990s, the powerful mission of APR was well established in the industry because of the groundwork laid by the first 2 generations. It was then time to fully articulate that mission and forge the 4 core values of the company in the blast furnace of the newly formed leadership team.
They got me the product when I needed it, and they cared that I was making money. It was a partnership.
I buy 95%, maybe more, from APR. I just don't want to deal with anybody else. They make it too easy to deal with.
They eat it, sleep it, breathe it, and if I've got a problem, I can reach out to any of them at any time, and they're right on it.
The consistent message that has remained through my entire career at APR is do what you have to do to take care of the customer.
We remind ourselves regularly what the vision is, what the mission is. We check each other, we keep each other accountable.
They pay attention to the details. Obviously, they don't extend themselves. They monitor risk the right way. They understand risk.
And then the most important part is we need to do what we say. Judge someone by their actions, not by their words. So it's great to have the plaque on the wall. Here's our vision, here's our mission, but judge me by what I do.
That's who we are. That it's second nature and instinctive for us. It's not contrived, and you can put a lot of faith and confidence in it.
And I'm always looking for us to be 1% better.
And that's something I think APR was always thinking about, what we could do better. You know, how could our group add more value?
Everyone lives it out, from the guy at the counter to the guy in the back warehouse to one of the vice presidents of the company to the truck driver.
You know, he's just a truck driver. He delivers your stuff, but he's connected. He wants to make sure it's done right. And sometimes he'll say, we got to look at this box. I don't like the way it looks. Let's check this before I leave. That's invaluable.
But they were always on the cutting edge. They were always looking at new ways to do things and constantly improving and changing and growing. And
1% better at everything. That our operations ought to be 1% better next year than this year. That our products ought to be 1% better next year than this year. And always moving in a positive direction.
They were very on top of their results and made the improvements necessary to adjust and tweak and change. Just very good business people and understanding the need to monitor their financial situations at all times.
You know, APR just in general does such a great job, from the minute we order it to getting it on that truck and getting it here and the truck driver delivering it. The things within their control, they take care of them.
I guess I would say a dogged, continuous focus on making something better. And knowing that if you break it up into pieces and tackle it a little bit at a time, that the outcome's just going to be exponentially better.
And exponentially better is correct for 100 years. From the early days from just one branch and tight quarters, the APR Vision quickly expanded its warehouse and office space. The country was growing, and so was its plumbing and HVAC needs. APR responded with opening its second and third branches with no signs of stopping there. Powerful growth in the 70s and 80s was all about continuing the mission of a complete focus on the customer and the steadfast leadership of Randy Tice. Mixing in the Scott Weaver magic in the 1990s only amplified the growth and vision of the company. Multiple acquisitions continued to enlarge their footprint across the regional area with unprecedented growth doubling every 5 years. Even with its increasing size, one of the steadfast hallmarks of the company was the preservation of the heart and soul of the company, caring and commitment to the APR family.
It's just, I think APR feels a sense of duty to their people to take care of their needs above and beyond what is normally called for.
I remember and feel the compassion that can come from somebody's in trouble here, and we got to take care of them.
You always felt like family. The day that I left, I went outside and I just cried and cried.
My father passed away a couple years ago, and I'm standing in the line at our memorial service, watching people come by, and for the most part, you expect relatives, old cousins, aunts and uncles. Here comes the APR family. Here comes the APR executive team. Here comes Scott and Debbie. Here comes Randy and Sarah.
The capstone moment for APR and the ultimate testament to the future has been the opening of the new distribution center on Joel Drive.
I think ultimately the project was or is much bigger than any of us imagined.
There's a lot of hours being put in across the board, 24 hours a day. We've been operating for a number of weeks to try to get this facility up and running as soon as possible. But we couldn't do it out with a total team effort that's been put forth, and everybody's doing a great job and working their butt off to make it happen.
Part of this warehouse and its vision is it's pretty spiffy out there with how it's organized and how it's arranged and what technology we've deployed, including the little robots. And it's going to help us dramatically to continue to grow.
Probably a little bit ahead of the curve, with the automated picking systems and just the sheer volume of space and material and product in this past 2 years has shown. Can't be too overstocked.
This is the next step to get to the next level, and they will leverage every ounce of that property to do the incredible growth that's just going to be coming. Their story is still continuing.
And just every conversation, when you talk about what could be, really becomes very easy to picture. Not only the dream, but how it's going to happen. It's like you're seeing it live.
So my life goal is to make whatever I do better. Take it from wherever it is to something better. And the business goal, as they made me articulate, I think we were between 25 and 50 million. It was a long time ago in sales. And I articulated that during my lifetime, APR Supply would hit $1 billion in sales. So what does our future hold? Growth. So we provided a place where you can come and be successful, where you can self-actualize is what I view that as for myself. It includes change. It includes innovation.
Because when a company grows exponentially, like I think they're going to and like they really have, you not only need more people, you need more really smart people. So now you need people downstream from you and have the same heart, the same mindset, the same generosity.
To get there must likely include some major acquisitions, something that's beyond maybe our comfort zone, and doing it in a way that we've not done before. But we will change at a faster pace than our competition. We will get to that next technology, that next thing first.
Because when you have 4 core values that are pillars that support that, in their case, customers, accountability, excellence, and results, and you make every decision tied to those values and tied to that mission, you're going to continue to be successful. I don't see any of that changing under Scott's leadership, and frankly, that is so ingrained in the DNA of the company. I don't see that flagging under the leadership of the next generation either.
All right, I just really want to thank our customers, our loyal customers, and our vendor partners for working with us through this challenging, crazy time that we've been enduring.
Hey, I would just like to thank everybody for their patience and working through us over the past 2.5 years with all the challenges that we've incurred together.
I appreciate your willingness to work on a regular basis. Almost daily we communicate with what our needs are, and you've been there as best you can to have our backs.
And I also want to say thank you to our customers for sticking with us during the COVID outbreak, and also during our recent change to a warehouse management system. We know it's been a challenge. We're working our way through it, and we appreciate your business and your loyalty to APR Supply Company.
To our customers and our vendors, I cannot thank you enough.
We appreciate you, and we can't wait to see what we can do together going forward.
To our vendors, I want to say thank you for your support of APR Supply. Without you, certainly we cannot offer the great services we offer our customers.
Thank you to all of our customers and vendors. APR celebrating our 100-year anniversary. We couldn't be who we are today without the support of the entire APR family.
I want to thank all our customers and vendors who have been partners in this transition for us. We couldn't have done it without you.
Well, to our customers and vendors, we just really appreciate all of the things that not only we can do for you, but also what you guys do for us. I've always been very proud in all my time at APR and how we continue to partner with, and yes, we push ourselves, each other sometimes, but for the end game of taking care of the customer.
Thank you to our vendor and customer partners. Without you, there is no way we could be accomplishing what we are today. Thank you for sticking with us through thick and thin. I believe this year was a little bit more challenged than most. Thank you for sticking with us through COVID. Thanks for helping all of us be a great team together.
But yeah, in 20 years, I'll say 20 years, 20 states.